Zalzalak, better known to many English speakers as hawthorn fruit, lives in that strange category of foods that are both incredibly ancient and yet somehow still flying under the modern radar. If you ask people to name 10 famous superfruits, they'll throw around acai, goji, pomegranate, blueberry. But hiding in the hedges, literally, is one of humanity's oldest and most storied fruits. Zalzalak is the quiet kid in class who secretly invented half the homework. Let's break this down the long, deep, almost cinematic way. A fruit older than empires. Zalzalak trees are native to Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and North Africa. In other words, this plant has been around long before countries, languages, or borders were even ideas. Archaeological digs show hawthorn seeds near fire pits from the early Neolithic period, suggesting that humans have eaten these little red or yellow berries for thousands of years. Not as a desperate survival food, but intentionally. Ancient medical texts across Persia, Greece, and Anatolia mention hawthorn as a plant used for the heart, circulation, calming the spirit, and even protecting against bad luck. Some early herbalists believed the tree itself had a guardian aura, and villagers planted them at borders as a spiritual shield. That's right, Zalzalak wasn't just a fruit. It was medieval home security. So what does Zalzalak even taste like? Picture this: take an apple, shrink it down to a cherry-sized orb, reduce the sweetness, increase the tartness, and add a hint of floral woodsiness. That's Zalzalak. Depending on the species, the taste can be tart and lemony, mildly sweet, astringent like crabapple, soft and apple-like when overripe. In Turkey and Iran, they're often sold in street stalls, eaten raw, sprinkled with salt or chili, or brewed into warm herbal teas. The fruit has that nostalgic, "my grandmother always had this" vibe in many cultures. A medical legend. Let's get to the juicy part, the health effects. This is where Zalzalak becomes the main character instead of an extra. Modern research, especially in Europe and China, shows that hawthorn extract supports heart function, blood circulation, blood pressure balance, stress reduction, cholesterol modulation. The active compounds include flavonoids, oligomeric procyanidins, antioxidants, and cardioprotective molecules that strengthen the heart muscle and improve vascular elasticity. For centuries, cultures somehow knew this intuitively. Hawthorn tea was used for chest tightness, anxiety, palpitations, and fatigue. These weren't baseless folk tales, they were early observations of real biochemical effects. Today, hawthorn is one of the most studied herbal supplements in cardiology-related research. The fruit isn't just nutritious, it's medicinal in a measurable, peer-reviewed way. Zalzalak in world cultures. Different regions built their own culinary and spiritual relationships with this fruit. China, haw flakes, tangulu, candied hawthorn skewers, jams, and medicinal tonics. A nostalgia bomb for anyone who grew up in East Asia. Turkey, street vendors selling alec, families making vinegar, jam, and compotes. Middle East, used in herbal medicine, especially for digestion and heart support. Europe, one of the most important hedge plants, symbol of fertility and protection. Medieval people decorated their doors with hawthorn branches during spring celebrations. Zalzalak became both a food and a symbol, a protector, a healer, a giver of energy. The tree itself is a character. This plant doesn't simply grow. It survives. Hawthorn trees are small, spiny, resilient, wind-resistant, drought-resistant, and bloom with beautiful white flowers in spring. Farmers often use them as living fences because animals don't like the thorns. Birds adore the berries, which means hawthorn hedges are buzzing with wildlife. This ecological toughness gave hawthorn a cultural aura, a plant that stands its ground. Culinary uses, simple but versatile. While raw hawthorn fruit is commonly eaten, its true potential appears when cooked. Zalzalak can be turned into jams, syrups, vinegar, herbal tea, alcoholic spirits, candied snacks, pickles, yes, in some regions. The fruit's natural pectin makes it excellent for jellies. When cooked, the tartness mellows, revealing a mellow apple-like sweetness. Fun facts. Hawthorn wood is so dense that it sinks in water. Some trees live over 400 years. In Celtic mythology, hawthorn trees are inhabited by fairies. Cutting one down was taboo. The fruit is technically a poem, just like apples and pears. Bees go crazy for hawthorn flowers. Why hasn't the world made it trendy yet? Honestly, Zalzalak is a victim of marketing. It's humble, simple, and rarely exported. It doesn't have the flashy purple color of acai or the influencer aesthetic of dragon fruit. But scientifically, historically, nutritionally, Zalzalak absolutely belongs in the Superfruit Hall of Fame. It's waiting for its moment. Maybe this video will kickstart the trend. Final thought. Zalzalak isn't just another fruit on a long list. It's a relic of human history, a medicinal treasure, a cultural artifact, and an ecological survivor. Whether you know it as hawthorn, alec, or Zalzalak, this tiny berry has carried enormous significance across civilizations. And honestly, it deserves way more hype.